Welcome back to another live stream here on the twitch.tv/Xisuma playing on Hermitcraft. I cannot remember where I logged off. I've had a little bit of a brain break from playing on the server. And I think that's going to continue after today's stream. I'm going to play some Hightail. Either this evening or tomorrow. It's Hightail time for me. Where did I put all my diamond ore? I think I might have left some stuff over at the farm. So if you saw today's episode of Hermitcraft, you'll happen to know that we finished constructing an incredible farm, and I've left a bunch of supplies over there. Maybe I don't need to worry about that. Maybe I don't need to worry about that right now. But there's a bunch of cool stuff we're going to do post farm building to that area. And we'll do a little bit of a really cool project idea I want to do on today's stream. First, though, we're going to take care of something that annoyed me earlier, because I went to use the witch farm and it didn't work. So I'm going to need a bunch of stone bricks, a little bit of redstone, which is in my ender chest. And possibly not much else, honestly. Possibly not much else. Now, are these contraband rockets, says Aprover? What's the title of the stream? I forgot. I know it's got something to do with rockets and them being disposable, but I forgot what I labeled it as. So, give me a refresher. Void Walker Xisuma coming in for 5 months. Where did you get that name from? So original. Jay Loves You Too here for 16 months. Karen Cake for 21. Been waiting for the stream since you uploaded the video. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I did attach it to the comments that I'll be streaming later today. Frog Miners says, why does he have no viewers? I mean, considering you and other people are typing in chat, we know it's not no viewers. You know, maybe it's just because the stream started. The alert says we need to dispose of some rockets, I think. Oh yeah, the alert is related to it as well. Yeah, no, we're going to do a disposable rocket thing. It'll all make sense, but first we're going to go install something over at the witch farm. And Doc is here, using the witch farm as well. Let's see if he doesn't even notice me. Doesn't notice I'm here. Wow, that is absolutely... Look at the size of that biome. You get lost in that thing. Doc just turns around and like I'm like building stuff for the redstone. And let me explain what happens in this farm, okay? This is a, in theory, self-fixing farm, but it kind of needs the redstone here. Yeah, you can see it from here. I was going to say, it kind of needs that lever to be flicked, all right? And then it will work. So what we're going to do is we're going to rig up. Do you know what? This me being here might slow down the rates of this farm. We're going to rig up a little lever up top that'll let you control this. The other thing is, I was wondering if there's a way to detect if it's working or broken, but that would mean installing an observer at one end where the piston arrives, and it strikes me as being a bit icky. But let me think about it for a second. If I had night vision, this would be easier. So on that side, an observer arrives and stops there. In theory, maybe you could pull a redstone signal. It might actually be possible to automate this. Oh my god, I want to do it that way now. I want to do it that way. And then down here, we feed a signal into that block. So if I do this without player intervention, we're going to create some sort of redstone decay clock here or over here. Like, we might be able to do the same thing on this side. Put an observer right here. Where does it stop? It stops. There's actually a gap. Oh, it's got red. It's a slab, so you couldn't put it there. You'd have to do it on this corner. So you'd have a detection here feeding into a clock. Now, when that clock unpowers, you need to think quite deliberately about how it's going to try and, like, rejig the machine. It's Mazia. Thank you for 8 months. Hi, how are you doing today? I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. Winnie T. Ford here for 95. Appreciate you, Winnie. I think it might be easier to start by getting the signal out of the witch farm and then deciding what to do with it, because we can actually build redstone on the fly and think about it and diagnose it. But like if I try and do all of that in my head at once, it gets a little confusing. If you get some of the redstone in front of you for your eyes to see, then you're sort of reducing the size or complexity of the task. Okay, so it appears to be around this level here. That's going to let light into the farm. That's fine. We should definitely be able to put an observer there without issue. We can put one at each level. And these, when these break, they tend to break synchronously. Like, notice how they're all in sync. That's also the way they break, because they sort of don't actually break. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the leaf block and put that there. And then I think that's actually airtight. And then you'll see that we create a pulse every so often. Yeah. Huh. What are we doing? A witch farm, says Is. We're not doing a witch farm. We're adding like a self-fixing mechanism to the farm, is kind of the idea. It's kind of the idea here. By the way, I got a Hoyt cup of tea, and we got a hype train going. Thank you for coming in and subscribing, people. Why does a person need so many discs anyway? It's not like most people make a disc shop. If you are collecting disc, one type is each enough, and you don't need specialized items, says Girly Girl. Girly Girl is not using her imagination and remembering that she is watching Hermitcraft. Hermitcraft is where amazing things take place, and amazing things will take place with those record discs. Just you wait and see. Think outside the box a little bit. That's what I did. I'm gonna create a game with those music discs. A game unlike you've seen on Hermitcraft before. But what type of game it is, I'll refrain from telling you any more. Blink for me! There we go, we know it works. Right, so the next one is like two blocks in between. So I think it's there. Yeah, you can see the leaf block. Then we put that in place. Watch the chest monster grow. We're playing Minecraft. The chest monster will grow. That would actually be a pretty funny, like, April Fool's joke. Like a bit of a... Oh, April Fool's will be here in no time. Like a self-acknowledgement type thing. Minecraft add a chest monster. It's like, the longer you play, the bigger it gets. Just starts, like, following you around and getting in your way when you're trying to build. Not that I needed that extra redstone chest. Okay, and then 1, 2 again. Okay, that's good. Right, so now all of them will fire and create a signal. I kind of want to hook them up so we treat them all the same. I think that might be as simple a case as just adding some configuration of slabs nearby. I also have a... You're not supposed to be there. I also have a feeling we're out of oak logs, so let's grab... Oh, we already did that, and then I probably got distracted. You love April Fools on Hermitcraft. What April Fools things have we done on Hermitcraft? I know we did like a joke season one time. You know, I should really probably put that on the agenda to discuss, because it always comes around a little too quick. I'll make a note. See, I don't really do April Fools on Hermitcraft because I will be busy with a snapshot video. The Copper Golem retextured to some type of monster would be so funny. I think what we'll get is like there's a bit of a track record of Mojang doing pretty extensive snapshots now for April Fools. So I think we're gonna see something cool. Callie says, so X is making a rocket factory, right, chat? You'll see, you'll see. You going out clubbing? Hey, go to the club. If you don't want to go to the club, don't go to the club. I mean, is it your thing? Is it not? Who knows? Callie, thank you ever so much for 84 months. Appreciate you coming in with the prime. Right, you just realised you need to go eat. You haven't eaten since lunch. Do you know, I live such a structured life. I never have a moment of like, oh, I need to eat. It's like, it's always done. It's always planned. It's always part of the routine. It's structured. I'm always on it. I really enjoyed my food today. I think sometimes you're just like, for whatever reason, your body's just more receptive to all the taste buds and stuff like that. But yeah, enjoyed my food today. Made a bit of like a semi-curry thing earlier. And then I had some bread. I made peanut butter and chili relish. Kind of like jam, but not quite. Big old sandwich. Had some homemade ice cream. Kind of just using up bits and bobs. Had some like yogurt and fruit with it. That kind of meal. I'll tell you what we can do, actually. We can replace this with a slab, which will make the whole thing easier. Although, I always struggle to remember, what way is the signal allowed to go here? Can it go downwards? Or is it upwards only? We want it to go downwards here. What is the best way to tile all of this for a downward signal? I'm not sure. Through slabs. We just established that won't work, right? At least I thought we did. What is the best way to do downwards redstone? Tiled like this. Possibly something with pistons. Any ideas, chat? Walls? Leaf stone would work well here. You might be right. I don't really do leaf stone very often. Possibly something with scaffold as well. Would glass... Does glass let the signal go down? I thought slabs and glass were the same and it only let the signal go up. Could we have some of my music as the background music stream? Not today, my dude. Not today. I don't want to do that too often. Wait, I'm not doing this correctly. We need that there to know. You can see actually it creates a line. It creates a line, but you don't get the downward signal property. I mean, this is my mind trying to do the how compact can I make it thing, right? Maybe that's the wrong way of looking at this, because if I start to look at this in 3 dimensions, it becomes a little easier and a lot more straightforward to do that. This is a common redstone thing, is like you have this desire to come up with this super compact, elegant placement of the wire and stuff, and it's just like, dude, just use a bit more space and it's like that. There you go. So now they are all hooked up together. And what we want to do is make some sort of cooldown timer clock off of this. I'm gonna put all of my redstone on logs today, I think. Torches are important. Must not forget to check the light level before we leave. Okay, so... Oh god, I'm gonna cough so bad. Excuse me, I had to lean away. I mean, that is not going to be even close, is it? Definitely need a few tweaks here. That's going to require a little signal extension. And then it's a case of, can it stay on for the whole time until we get another pulse? It can. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. Right. That's the first bit of work taken care of. Now, if our machine isn't working, we need to toggle the input state around the corner. So the redstone line's going to run around to this thing. Right. Now that's currently no signal, so we'll be flipping whatever signal comes out of here. But what we want it to do is we kind of want it to pulse a couple of times to rejig it. But then if that doesn't work, we also want another timer here. So we've taken the detection of it working, and if this turns off, we then want to activate like a loop, like a thing that... Okay, I think I'm talking my way through it and it's starting to make sense. But once again, you know that thing about chess monsters? It's like now this is all like right next door to where I want to do some stuff with this. Yo, we got JSTP 3000 coming in for 31 months. Having a headache, but happy to be here. Oh, that sucks, dude. Make sure you drink lots of water, get some fresh air, and some rest. Would the creeper farm I built in the last episode work as well in the ocean, or do you need to mine to bedrock? Trying to farm every item. I mean, if you only want one of each, it's probably not worth building. If you build it in an ocean, the rates are slower, but like... You don't have to build a giant perimeter, so you can take those slower rates and work with it. There's also going to be this question of like, will this clock work? Because if it doesn't, actually I should separate it from that one. If this doesn't work, then I have to be able to adjust the clock that I'm going to create. And so by using one of these very basic clocks, we should be able to do that with no issue whatsoever. Okay, so... like that gives us 8 ticks to work with, essentially, right? 8 ticks of adjustment. We can probably put in a little bit more if we need it. Now let's imagine that this is broken. We've activated our attempt at fixing the farm clock. There is another bit of a problem here. This needs to be a lot longer. This cannot be that frequent. We need to give enough time for the farm to like... Oh, this is tricky stuff. And it's going to be interesting to see if it actually works or not. I won't really be able to test it. Maybe I'll download a backup of the world and like intentionally break it or something. Be kind of weird to do. There might be a way to test it. Like you turn the whole thing off, and if this thing sort of rejigs it, then you know it kind of works. So now if I take away that and we sort of compare the amount of time it takes to go around one to the other, and we have a falling edge detector on that, I don't think it's actually that much longer. So let's go and put in a few more blocks. Right, so... Oh, am I out? No, I'm not out. Surely I'm not out. Still got some more. I don't want to be caught cheaping out on repeaters just because I've ran out. There's also... It's starting to look like maybe building a hopper clock here makes more sense, right? So you lock your hopper clock in, yeah, instead of this thing, instead of this monstrosity. We can do that. That's not a problem. So, some hoppers. Now, can I build this from memory? I would love to build this from memory. I don't think I can. No matter how many times I build this, I always seem to struggle with building it from memory and have to go look it up. But it would be... We wouldn't need that. It would be a case of having 2 hoppers here. Then your comparators. going into blocks with torches on, if I remember correctly. Which is what we've been talking about that I don't remember. I think that's kind of it. And we've got a raid coming in. Impulse, my dude. Thank you for the raid. How's it going? Welcome, everyone. We're doing a bit of impromptu redstone. We're building a circuit that's going to fix my flying machine if it breaks. The ironic thing about the flying machine is that it's an unbreakable one, but there's this weird edge case where it does, when you unload and load the chunks, right, the flying machine gets caught in a loop, so it doesn't go end to end. And you just need to send it a signal. You need to give it like a little jiggle. That's why we have this lever here for turning it on and off. What I'm trying to do right now is create a circuit that's going to do that for us. We have to break it down into parts. First, we have to detect that we are that the flying machine is working. And this redstone all stays on when it is. So the moment that it turns off is when we want to activate a clock, which we're currently building over here. And I'm a little concerned that with this being a full block, I might be doing this the wrong way. Because yeah, I can never build this one from memory. One day I will get there. One day I will get there, because it is such an awesome little piece of redstone. After we've done this, by the way, we're then going to go build a rocket factory for disposable rockets, ones that we will actually throw away and use for silly other reasons as well. Okay, I am in a different world that you can't see, and I am right next to this thing. That's great. So, if I slap that on my other screen, it is true that I'll never build this from memory, it would seem. The bit that I'm missing is this is all is correct, but there's actually extra blocks here. So it's a little wider overall. I'm building this flipped, aren't I? So that means the other hoppers are here, and that they point in the opposite direction, and I've got it. Right. This is such a brilliant little circuit. So we put like, I think back here is where you put one item in, and at the front is where you put in multiple items like that. Then from here we should be able to That's not what I thought was going to happen. Maybe this is the one that has one and this is the one that has more. Okay, there we go. Solved that one. Now we're just going to create some sort of like monostable event from here. And that means that every so often it will create a single pulse. So we've gone from detecting when the machine is active and working. If it's not, that'll trigger this circuit. I can see this. Oh my god, this is. I can see this having the downside of like something going wrong with this bit, and this is where we only store one item. So as the items drain away, there's like an event that happens, and we need to make sure we detect the right event. So nothing changed. Surely something changed. I'll tell you what, let's test this with less items and let it reset. Let's find out what its like default locked position is, and then we'll go and attach some sort of monostable to it. Okay, so that torch there is on, that comparator is on. What changes? This one here turns on. That's, I think, where we're going to get our monostable event from. The trick is in knowing how it resets. Is that it? Just 13 items in there. Okay, so let's do that again. Oh, wait, is it different this time? Maybe it's like it does it midway. I think I might have found it where it does it midway. Yeah, it does it midway. Okay, and then when that comes on, it shouldn't do it again. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. So at that midway point, that's when we're going to now take another signal, and this now needs manipulating to go over to the lever. I'm already regretting doing this. I should have maybe just stuck with the idea. I was going to pillar up. Why do I choose to do things the hard way, man? I was going to pillar up with some stone walls and just add an observer at the bottom so the player could do it manually. But oh no, X had to go and do this the complicated way, didn't I? Alright, so we're going to get a signal there. And I think what I want is sort of like a double pulse. Challenges are fun though, says Kanoria. They are fun, that is true. That is very true. Yeah, I think you want to like shock the circuit into life. So if I make just the one more piston, just the one more piston. When this thing gets activated with 4 ticks, we'll once again be monostabling. I've got to put these under all of these blocks. We'll monostable again, and then create like 2 concurrent pulses. One will be long and one will be short. So like that turns on. That one goes first. So you actually want your short one to be first. That's what you want. And then this one to be second. They need to then create a bit of like a on-off pulse. And then that gets fed into the lever. This is the bit where it's going to take trial and error, and I'll probably have to test it off camera and stuff. But, whew, okay. So this breaks. Now we need the thing to activate. Which it will do every so often. That was... what? Why didn't it get the signal from it? That should... what the heck? What the heck? Huh. And as you saw, it's possible for that to activate, which we don't want. Wait, no, wait. That didn't do... oh my god. Okay, let's just try... let's try and experiment with this a teeny tiny bit more. Like, because we want the one where it doesn't activate. Which is going to do now, I think. Oh, do you know what it probably is? It's probably bud powered. It's probably bud powered. You know, normally what I use is an observer. Maybe we'll try that instead. So, that has the one. This thing will activate straight away this time. Except we didn't see it in action. But then it will activate again, which we kind of don't want. We don't want it to activate again. That's why we probably want to use just an actual signal like that. Let's try that. Let's see how that works. Because then it'll turn back on and it's locked. So, like, when it turns off is when we want our event to happen. So that will mean pulling this signal in. We've almost got it, peeps. We're almost there. Now it's the case of... it pulls the signal in. I think I still want that signal to feed into another one. This is awful. Let's read some noises. Becca Boo 93, thank you for 18 months. Dances with Magic, thank you for 12. And Wolf Watchman, thank you for 3 months of support. Dang, it's a little bit toasty in here. I might need to take off a layer. Or maybe maybe this will get into me, you know? Or let the torch make the piston go. Yeah, we could try it with the torch. How does that work? We do this. Yo, Jesse G. Waltney. Thank you so much for resubscribing. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, wait. I was looking at the other screen. I got distracted. So that, I think, is pretty good. So you just get that thing to turn on. I think what we had before worked better. Okay, so let's say the signal arrives here. I'm going to try... Yeah, I'm just going to work with that now. So that'll get powered. Then we want to create our 2 signals off of it. Remember, it's momentary as well. So actually, except I don't want you to get powered. If I put that there, it's sort of doing the same thing. So those 2 spots, right? So that means we can do it from here. So we want a short one. They both go off at the same time, and a long one. Probably need at least 2 ticks on it. So this should create... let's set it to 4 ticks and then an 8-tick delay in between. Now we should get a pulse that sort of interacts with the farm. That should be it. Okay, so... it poked off a torch or something. That's fine. Let's leave it running. Just so I can get a feel for it. So now, like, every so often, we're going to see a signal come through here. Yeah, a double blink like that is kind of what I want. Now, we've got plenty of space here to test this later on. Mess around with it, get the timing right, all that kind of stuff. Which is good. We want that. Now, what we're going to do is just bring this signal over to here. So, I will go ahead and just make this a tiny bit bigger. And then we go... We really need a shovel. Shadow Moon, thank you ever so much for the Prime subscription. Appreciate it, my dude. Welcome to another live stream. Should we go with the Silk Touch? Actually, no, let's not go with Silk Touch. My inventory is a disaster as it is. A disaster no one can make sense of. Actually, what I kind of want is that and the repeaters. Yep. No need for hoppers. Where are we going here? Where are we going? Let's use the camera. So can I go... Yeah, I can basically go like down and under. So let's dig our way backwards. Right, anyway, we're almost done here. So who understood the redstone? I won't be surprised if no one says yes. Okay, we need to go around that. Yeah, there's a lot here I should be avoiding. Yeah, there's a reason it's all filled in. Want to keep the light out of those areas, basically. Including that bit there. So when we get to here, it's like... I want the redstone to point into there. We're going to make it a repeater. And then we've got a bit of a problem. Can it just be wire, please? Look at that, it can be wire. Thank goodness, because otherwise, not so much fun. You think you did. It's hard for you to understand redstone in general. I always want to explain redstone to people. Oh, it gets back powered. That's fine, that's fine. We'll make it so that that bit there gets back powered, and then you don't see it from here on. I always want to make redstone more accessible. I genuinely think more people can be better at redstone. There's this thing about like telling yourself that you can't do it, and then it makes it easier for you to not do it because, well, you told yourself you couldn't, right? A lot of redstone involves breaking things down into steps. So we started off by trying to detect that our flying machine wasn't working, right? So we didn't do this all at once. We started with, hey, let's detect if the flying machine is actually working or not. And that was very simple. We put observers on the inside. We took a signal from them. I saw something slightly green and thought it was a creeper. And then we needed to make it so that signal always stays on. Now, why would you do that? Because it gives you an event. The event is when this thing isn't always on. When this isn't always powered, that means the flying machine isn't working. So that's like step 1 to step 2. From there... Although things are a bit messy, there probably is a more elegant way to do this. We now need to say, When this is off, we need a circuit that creates a pulse every so often. So we created a clock timing circuit here. This is, you know, you look at it, you don't understand it. It's a piece of knowledge. If you do redstone and learn about it, you'll add something like this to your arsenal, and you'll understand that you can use it for a situation like this, which is what we're doing. So every so often that will fire, as long as the flying machine isn't working. When it fires, it then creates 2 pulses. The reason why is because we want to jog the flying machine. We want to give it like a little bit of a buzz, a bit of a snap, a call to action. So we send in a couple of signals, right? And that should wake up the flying machine, and then we should be all good again. But I've got to test that bit. So the flying machine is currently working, and I don't really have a way to intentionally stop it. But now this sits here and hopefully fixes that problem for us, right? Bear says, wait, that makes sense. I'm trying, Bear. I'm trying. I'm always trying. So if it made sense, I'm happy to hear it. Dude is waggling the mouse as if it'll help me to understand better, says Digital Chaos. I'm trying my best here, man. Like, it's the words that I'm saying that mean more than how I'm waggling the mouse. Sorry, a minute ago, did you tell yourself it's easier to tell yourself you can or cannot? My ears are bad. If you tell yourself you can't do things, it is more likely that you won't be able to do them. You know, if you tell yourself you can, it's more likely you will. It's not a case of saying, oh, I can fly, therefore I said it to myself so I can. It's about how your own attitude and perception of things isn't set in stone. It can be influenced. And the act of telling yourself you can't, you know, if you go around like, oh, I'm never going to win anything, and I never have any luck, and, you know, it's always the world's against me, then, you know, maybe you don't take chances or risks or take up opportunities because you think it's not going to work out. And then the end result is that, guess what? Things never work out because you never take those steps. So it's like that. If you go around telling yourself you can't do redstone, it's a bunch of voodoo magic, it'll stay voodoo magic because you won't put the time into learning how it works. So the reason I say that is to remind y'all, because it's very common for people online to sort of say like, you know, redstone is just wizardry. I don't know how you do it. And it's like, well, you don't know, but you have the potential to know, right? And that's the gap that you want to bridge. You want to be less of like, I don't know, and more of like, I could know. And I think more people would enjoy doing redstone than they realize. It's just learning about how to approach it and how to understand certain concepts and make them work in your favor. Because, like, I wouldn't expect you to start doing redstone and come up with some crazy complex engineering like you might see here. This all looks like magic at first. And if you tell yourself, well, it's all magic, I can't do it, then you'll never learn. But you start off with some basics, and then some of this stuff might start to make a little bit more sense, you know? Frosty Nymph, thank you ever so much for 3 months. And I think I read Shadow Moon, but thank you again. All right, people, we're going to move on now. We're going to move on. Let me. I'm not going to cross that off my list, actually. Let me look what else is on the list, because we're definitely doing the firework factory, sorry. There's a few other things on my list that I want to do, but we got to focus. I promised y'all, that took me 40 minutes. That was supposed to be a 5-minute job. But then I went over there and I was like, oh, there's a more complicated way to do this with redstone. But hey, I think it'll actually work. I just need to test it and figure it out. Hey X, what is your favorite movie / series? Well, at the moment, I'm rewatching Better Call Saul, and I'm absolutely adoring it. It's so good. Such a good show. My favorite, probably The Wire. Don't let your tea go cold. It's well and truly gone cold, mate. It's been 40 minutes. It's a done thing now. It's a done thing. So this is this is pretty ugly to look at. I am having something going wrong with my throat. X, I was listening to your music and wondered what inspired your symphonic black metal album. Well, it being my favourite sort of music, the artists of that genre, mainly Dimmu Borgir, but you'll hear all sorts of other influences in my music as well. What am I doing here? Put the tea in the microwave then. I'm not a fan of doing that. Let's get a couple more of these together. I really need to do a bit of like a supply run, stock up. By this point in the season, I'm kind of used to having a tree farm and some stuff being made a lot easier. I guess Skizzleman is currently my tree farm. I've been getting copious amounts of mangrove wood to do my projects with. But yeah, we're going to dump all of this back in for sorting at a later date. That's for the honeycomb. You know, the farm that we built recently. You're probably all familiar with it. We'll go past that area in a minute and have a little look. So yeah, that goes in there. No, sorry, that stays in the inventory. Oh, where does that go? That goes here. When I do the sorting, I'll take that out. I want to hold on to those. I need to get more as well. That's why I was fixing up the witch farm. It's all making sense, right? It's all making sense. Okay, that's a little cleaner. So I need to go get some more mangrove wood. I'm keeping count of how many stacks have taken. So we'll go do that. Then we're going to go do sugarcane. So we need sand. I've got a weird feeling that I used up all of my glass, or sorry, all of my sand to make glass. Now, in order to make a highly productive sugarcane farm, you should probably have a fair amount of sand, and it looks like I've found that. Then you should probably have a fair amount of sugarcane. I can't see it. It's not going to be that many blocks, is it? So we'll start with that. Mayhem, Marduk, and Immolation are playing in my country tomorrow. Would you be interested in a concert like that? Nah, not really. I'm kind of overseeing all the like heavy dark metal bands because I've kind of seen them all multiple times. These days when I go to gigs, it's just like I don't know, just way more broad, and like the least appealing to me are like the hardcore metal bands because I've just seen them so many times, and even when they're new bands, I've been to that show a lot before, you know. I don't think we're going to use the lays. Can we put sugarcane on mud? Like, part of me wants to animate this farm, but we've kind of done that, and we'll be repeating ourselves. Allays are a bit of a pain. This is going to be a hidden underground behind the scenes farm. So yeah, we'll do mud and hoppers. So we're going to need a lot of wood. We're going to need a lot of wood and a lot of iron. But we can get all of these. How I listen to Sleep Token though. I have, if you want to hear my thoughts, you can go check out my music blog. If you didn't know about that, I write about the music that I listen to. So if you want to hear my detailed thoughts on artists and stuff. What metal bands do I listen to? Honestly, a crazy amount because I've been listening to metal for decades. And it is in my blood. There's so much metal. I go to the doctor and they're like, what is going on? The blood test came back and... Goodness me, there's all this heavy metal in your blood. It came from the ears, doctor. It came from the ears. Right, that's more of that than we need. Do I like turnstiles? I don't like going through them. Ha ha hee hee. You mean turnstile, not plural. Yeah, they are one of my favourite bands. In fact, when I saw them at Ali Pali last year, that was absolutely one of the best gigs I've ever been to. Now, as you get older in life, you don't think those things are going to come around. And they don't come around that often, right? My best live show ever, Slipknot 2009. Headlining Download Festival. That was the most mental show I'd ever been to. Right. This is now 24 stacks of logs. Thank you, Skiz. This deal... I didn't build him a storage system with this in mind, but it has been an absolute time saver for me. It's been terrific. Oh, you saw them at Outbreak Festival. I missed that. Like, I don't know. I think I was still quite live show hesitant at that point. Post-pandemic, I hadn't quite gotten back into it and stuff. By the way, I need to show y'all this in case you haven't seen it. I was still quite hesitant, and I missed out on those ones, and I really quite regret it. But, you know, post-pandemic, everyone has that moment where they feel comfortable again with doing that stuff, and Yeah. It wasn't so much about comfort, though. It was kind of habit. I just sort of fell out of the habit of going. Like, ooh, oh, what happens when that... Oh, we found a problem. Oh, ho, ho. Okay, we can deal with this. For now, okay, this is going on the list of things to do. There's an interesting project to be done here, which is to create a system that stocks up honey bottles, feeds the leftover bottles back to our other system behind us. Oh my god, that's going to be some work. We want to store honey bottles, we want to create honey blocks and feed back bottles, and then we want to store honeycomb and create honey blocks, right? It's kind of wild. Anyway. That'll do for now. You can get back to work, buddy. You can get back to work. Anyway, beautiful place. Bringing it to life with a copper golem. I might put an extra one in here. Could even have a couple of extra allays. If you want to take these ideas and, like, rock and roll with them, just remember, you can put more in. I put the bare basics in because I was like, well, you know, there's only 2 items, so 2 allays. Danaverse says, how do you feel about 80s hair metal? I never really got into that stuff. However, I have grown an appreciation for it. I found a really cool channel on YouTube with a guy who talks about that scene. And it's funny because I can use their love of music to know what I like or not, because the stuff they're really into is the stuff where I'm like, that one's probably not for me. The one there where they're like, oh yeah, this band's kind of alright. I'm like, if you think they're kind of alright, they're probably more up my street. And I found some cool, like, hair metal, power ballady stuff from that era that I can actually get into. Just a few songs here and there, but, like, the hair metal stuff, not so much me. Do I like Candlemass? Candlemass is seriously cool. It took me a while to find that band. It took me a while to find them. Metal School on YouTube. That might be the one. That might be the one. I think you're right, actually. If you fancy a laugh, look up pictures of Pantera when they're in their glam phase. I know all about that. I quite like their glam records as it goes. Quite like them. All right, so we're looking clean. We're looking organized. I'm sure it's all going to fall apart real soon. Let's head down here. I've been on a grind this week. I started this project on Monday, and I've just been working at it relentlessly, which is why I think I need a bit of a brain break, because there's potential to do so much stuff here. So much stuff with how it looks down here, but, like, there's no creativity for it right now. But anyway, here's what we're going to do. Here's what disposable rockets is about, right? I want to filter out the gunpowder that comes through here separately, and I want to send that to a crafting area along with a sugarcane farm. And we are just going to create rockets constantly. More rockets than we'll ever use, but then we can send those rockets to other places on the server, like maybe through a nether portal. So whenever this area is loaded, it just makes rockets. It could put them into shelves, and whenever you go past, just grab some free rockets, right? Something like that is what I want to do. And the amount of gunpowder we're going to get out of this is going to be awesome. Also, by the way, there's a... shall I go get myself in trouble? I don't know if y'all have seen some other live streams from Hermits. If you've seen me suffering and dying, that's because I've been suffering and dying quite a few times, and it's been because of my copper armor. I'm just underpowered. But I saw that there was a cave, and we might as well use Cheaty Free Cam, because there's no secret that's the cave. Oh, look at it! It's gonna... If I go over there, I'm in trouble. Look at that. That's bad. No, I'm not going to do that. Not right now. That's bad news right there. Look at that bad news. Oh my god, there's so much death, right? And a lot of bats. Oh my god, there's a mod we used to have that we lost, and we should probably get back. Like, a mob cap for each player means like 15 bats or 10 bats. Let me tell you, right, how many players we got on the server right now? We got 4 of us. No, Impulse isn't streaming, but like 3 of us are streaming. Well, hang on, we're counting players. We got 8 players. Let me tell you some statistics right now. I'll tell you about statistics. Where is the statistic? There it is. If I go look at the bats on the server, how many bats do we have? 94 bats. Right? Slight optimization idea. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to take care of this after stream. We are going to get that back, because I know a modder who will probably be up for adding it. And what it'll do is it'll make the mob cap like 2 or 3 or 1 per hermit. And then that way, we just have less entities doing stupid flying around pathfinding stuff on the server. Slight optimization, you know? Blow it up. You know what? Using TNT over there is not a bad idea. Create a bit of chaos. Get them shooting at each other and stuff. Could work. Could also backfire. All right, I'm going to throw down a torch so we can see what we're doing in this area. Nice and bright. I think we're going to send gunpowder off to this side, just because I've kind of already started doing that. Storage, I'm going to filter out gunpowder, and then we're going to be left with record discs and glow ink. I think I'm going to get some copper golems in a room to sort those out. I need to think that through a little bit more. But I know I'm going to separate gunpowder and send it in this direction. So the smart thing for us to do is to pick out a space for a farm where we don't have to dig as much, right? Now I can send the gunpowder upwards. Maybe just send it up into this cave and do all of that stuff here, right? The next question to remind myself of, and I don't think the wiki will have this answer, but like, how far away from the player does sugarcane need to grow? Because I think vertically, if you're in the same chunk, you're good. But I think if you're at a distance, like there is something to do with like grass not spreading if you're too far away from the player. That might be easier to find on the wiki. I'm searching for player, and I don't think we're going to get an answer. Let's go look up grass spread. I think it'll be the same as that if it is a problem. Distance is another good word to search for. It's just giving me sounds for that. Player. Anyone in chat know? I don't think it's going to be a problem. I just like to double check this stuff these days and try and get myself in a habit of like retaining information a bit more. I don't see it on wiki at a glance. Isn't that the random tick range? Yes, it's probably the random tick range. But this looks like a good spot, right? If we tear down some of this, we could just build it in this space or build it up in the air a bit. And it's like right above. I think we just take that. I think that's the way to do it, you know? Let's grab this. Let's go upwards up to the cave. In Bedrock, it's 3 or 4 chunks. I think it's bigger in Java. Bedrock's a little different, isn't it? Does this not go to the surface? This goes to where the water streams are. And if I want more records, I might lower that. But actually, the amount of records we're getting is fine. Let's create a little connection here. And head upwards. Let's head upwards, people. Yo, Beach Diggory. Thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. I appreciate the support. I hope you're entertained, enjoying the stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Peeps, I have a little bit of a story for you. I've been having some trouble with a pump that's attached to my boiler. And yesterday, right, I've worked myself up a little bit. I've had a couple of nights of bad sleep. Now, X ain't complaining because I think I have a very low stress life. But I believe that I am a potentially high stress person. And you know how they say you're more like your parents than you realize, right? My dad is quite a high stress person, and I observe so many traits in him that I have in me, and it is like a mirror for self-reflection, like an insight into why I'm the way I am. And I noticed that I naturally just get worked up into a state of stress every now and then. I just kind of like put a bit more on my shoulders than I need to. And that actually happened over the last couple of days, I think. I get very obsessed with things that I do, like making my episodes, and I just got way too invested in the amount of progress that I was making and like trying to power through and get it all done, because in my mind, this project, right, I thought that digging all of this out and building all of that down there, I thought this might take me over a week to do, right? And because of that mentality, I went really hard on it and got it done in 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, I put out the episode today because I'm like, it's done. I want to take a break now. I don't want to have an episode in my head anymore because I can't sleep, because I just keep thinking about all the things I need to do for an episode, right? Like, my brain starts making a little plan, a little list. This thing needs to get done. That thing needs to get done. It's not really about the thing that I'm doing. It's about who I am. So some of you out there may have actual like high stress jobs, right? Think important things are on the line. That's not happening here, but like it doesn't stop me from drifting into that kind of territory and thinking about things in that particular way. It's just a part of who I am. And we got a Tanisha raid coming in. Tanisha, thank you so much for bringing your peeps in. I hope you're doing well. It is a reminder for me to stand up, actually. I've been sit down for a while. We are just chatting about me getting a little bit stressed out with my non-stressful job of being a YouTuber. It's just like a mentality that I slip into. And to be fair, I've been on a really good streak for a while without this. But anyway, day before yesterday, didn't get that much good sleep. I felt all right. I think it was just starting to creep up on me a little bit. Then yesterday, right, that's when I started to encounter some problems with the farm that I designed. And I let this stress me out rather than just like, oh, well, you know, it happens. Like, this isn't important. This is a computer game. I didn't go there. I didn't sort of like get to that stage of thinking first. So I kind of like just ended up with the stress in my mind. And what kind of like pulled the trigger on it is that I'm out here lighting up caves. And what do I hear? A bang behind me. Boom. Whoosh, all this noise. And I'm like, I know what that is, and that is not good. I log out, I like jump off the computer, and I go into the other room, and there is like water splashed all over the walls, over some storage. You know, fortunately, it wasn't that bad. It didn't damage anything. Some of that storage was my Hermitcraft cards. It's written on the side of the box, and I was like, oh, please be okay, and they were fine. They were fine. But yeah, storing stuff next to a boiler when you've got issues gets a little bit like, not so comfortable with this, you know what I mean? So anyway, so yeah, that happened. I went into like, all right, this is what I'm doing now. I'm just damage control, cleaning, checking everything's okay, and that was the rest of my evening, just working on that. And you know, everything's fine, it's all good. But like when I tried to sleep, my mind is now just racing between, oh my god, the boiler, like what's wrong with it? What, this thing, that thing, what could be going on? And forgetting that I'd fixed everything, turned it all off, and when I wake up in the morning, there's not going to be a bigger problem. It's going to be fine. It's all fixed off. But it's like, it's how the brain slips into that way of thinking, that mentality. That's what you got to catch. And I think for a while I've been catching it before it happens, and then this happens, and it's like, okay, this has now got to be a lesson, and like you got to just keep trying to do better every single time. You know, basically, like every now and then you fall off the horse. The point is always about getting back on it. It's not the journey. Sorry, it's not the destination. It's the journey. It's not about becoming the person that is zenned out and nothing stresses them. It's about always trying to get there. And so I just kind of like lost sight of that. Managed to make myself feel a bit stressed out about stuff that didn't need to, and then had that on top of it, which was like, you know, momentarily stressful. But I took care of everything, and I should have been like, okay, we're good. But I didn't. And now that I've got my episode out, and now that I'm like, you're taking a couple of days off to just do something totally different, play some Hytale, you know, just switch gears and like relax again. So yeah, anyway, I hope my little journey through all of that is helpful for some of y'all in any way. Because we all deal with stress, and like a lot of things in life, it's not so much like the thing itself, it's how you interact with it that's really important. And so for me, like my interaction with it, just I slipped up a little bit. I should know this is not that big of a deal as I'm making it, but it happens. Journey before destination. It's not so much like journey before, it's like some people say the journey is the destination, right? The destination is an illusion. It's always about the journey. It's like we're working out. It's not about like, oh, I'm going to get a shape and look like this. It's about turning up every day and doing the thing that is good for yourself. Like for me, I don't care about like, you know, getting this strong or this big or whatever. I care about turning up every day. What goes through my head is like, I don't want to get injured. I don't want to have something get in the way of my routine and like staying on it. I want the streak to continue. Does that make sense? Like that's what I think about more. It's more like what worries me about it is like, what if I do this thing and get injured? You know, I go on a skiing trip or something, and like part of my brain is like, you might crash, which I did on my last ski trip. I absolutely hit face into the ground. I got a face full of snow, right? But the thing that's in my mind is like, you might get injured and then you can't work out, you can't run, you can't stay on that streak. And talking about being stressed out by stuff, that doesn't really stress me out. It's more like that's just my goal, and I tell myself I want to stay on that path every day, you know? Right, and here you thought your 3D printer and computer both deciding to die in the same day was stressful, says Mickley. Well, you know, if those are important things to the things that you're doing, they will stress you out. But like, when you're stressed, a lot of the time the stress doesn't help the response, right? Like sometimes the stress is to a situation where like adrenaline kicks in and you have to fast action react to something. That kind of stress is different. I'm talking about we're not out there in the wilds. We're not hunting for our food. You know, it's not life and death. We live very comfortable, easy lives. We've got all of these modern facilities around us that just make life easy. And we get stressed out about other things because that's what the function of it is, really, isn't it? You know? So it's the ability to go, in that little life, this computer and this 3D printing is important. But in the bigger picture, it's not. And when these things happen, you do all that you can to fix, to get back on track. You know, maybe you've called someone out to come look at the computer. You've done all you can. It's out of your hands. And now we need that ability to step back from it and just be like, okay, I've done what I can. That's it. You know what I mean? Right. So I didn't really think about what design to use over here, but a flying machine might not be a bad idea. I kind of want to avoid using tons of hoppers, but they're so well optimized you can do that. So if we use a flying machine, we will definitely get a fair bit more bang for our buck. We can put mud next to waterlogged slabs so that like a whole field of hoppers could pick them up from below. I kind of feel like using a minecart is probably the efficient thing to do here. You know? Xisuma, but where is the border between really doing what you want? Really doing what you can and it being just a lazy excuse. How do you approach the feeling to it? Says Forgotten Poet. If I understand what you're asking about, for me, it is about just being honest with yourself and like knowing, like, choosing to do that thing where you want to be lazy, right? I don't know. I feel like if you worded your question a bit better, I could answer it better. I'm trying to like interpret it a bit more. Like the border. It's like, just don't lie to yourself. Tell yourself you're being lazy, right? And then choose to step into that and be like, you know what? Even though I feel this way, I'm gonna take actions that are different, and then maybe you'll build up like a bit more strength over time for taking that kind of action, and it helps you when things are really important and stuff. You know, when you really do need to do that thing you're procrastinating from. I can't remember when I last built a flying machine. I think it might be season 9. I think I built a flying machine for a sugarcane farm. Now, a flying machine might break. I could use the unbreakable flying machine that we saw earlier. That's a lot of setup for a small thing. Once again, self-discipline is so difficult to enact actively every day, but boy is it rewarding. Yeah, you want to think of it like a muscle. It's like something you just start building up over time and working on. Speaking of taking action, you have to head off. That's all good, my dude. Go do what you need to do. Sometimes I feel like I could have done more if disregarded other stuff, but when is that a real feeling? I think it's a real feeling if you're feeling it, right? Like what I'm saying about not lying to yourself is like, don't make an excuse for yourself, right? Other people can make excuses for you. Don't do it to yourself. Just be truthful with yourself and like accept, hey, today I'm just being absolutely lazy. Yeah, I could have done that job, but I made up an excuse and I didn't. If you're honest with yourself about it, then you're on level footing, and that allows you to take the action of being like, but I don't want to be like that, so I'm going to, you know, because it sounds like you might sort of be saying, well, maybe I want to give myself an excuse, and you don't want to give yourself an excuse. I can't make up my mind about what to do, like hoppers or flying machine. Flying machine is just going to produce like the right amount at scale. I know that. If we want to expand the flying machine, we would be expanding that direction, maybe because of less digging, I think. So we'll start our thing here. And then flying machines sometimes break, but I think you're just going to have to take that as is. So what was the last flying machine that I built, and where did I build it? It's kind of what I'm thinking. Yo, Powerballs, my dude, thank you for 12 months. Appreciate it. Welcome back. A whole year. That's awesome. That's awesome. I might just have to jump into an old world and grab a design. Like, there's a little bit of innovation that we get to do here, and then the rest is kind of straightforward. I think... You love the flag design. I'm glad you like it. Would I ever put the design on a shirt? No, I'm just going to keep it simple, you know? By the way, here's another thing, right? I don't say this very often, but like, if you want to make yourself your own bootleg shirt with some fan art, I mean, if you're going to use someone's fan art, maybe ask them first. But like, one thing that I always thought was cool about merch is like, why don't people just make their own, you know? Like, so if you see something cool Xisuma related and you want to put it on a shirt, I ain't going to have no problem with that. You know what I mean? Don't sell it to other people. Then it gets into like icky territory. But I always thought the idea of people making their own merchandise would be pretty cool. Yeah, okay. I remember should we go see what Wells did last season? Actually, do I have the world? I have a world. I have the creative world, and then let's go have a look. Hightail. This will be fine, this one. This one will be fine. X, I made my own fan art. Is that allowed? I am creative. I would love an X shirt to match my other Hermit merch. Yeah, it totally is. I always thought it was super cool. Oh! Right, so I was here for some recording stuff. Let's go in this direction. Let's go in this direction. Let's go over here. I think it's this way to Wells' sugarcane farm. That's like the most recent flying machine sugarcane farm I can think of. I could be wrong. Look at that. See, my memory's good. My memory's golden. So it's... Oh, interesting. It's not the way I would have done it. And that's also... That looks like... Oh my god, this does not look like the right sort of flying machine to use either. I'm going to have to go find one of my own. We're not going to build it all in one day, right? But like, let's look at the principle here. Why are there hoppers? What do they do? They might just pick up extra stuff. Okay. We could surround the bottom with glazed terracotta, so that wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, there might be like a bit of spillover from having it grow 3 tall each time. I'm pretty confident that I know what we're going to do, but we don't have to design it all now. We can start building it, which is good enough for me. So let's go and see what we can do here. Mumbo has one in season 11, and it's the same one from last season. Okay, but yeah, I'm happy with doing that. It's just a case of, or maybe I do want to do it at hoppers, because I get sick of doing the whole loading, unloading with minecarts. Then you got to figure out how many you want. I can never make up my mind. It's just a stupid, simple farm, and I can't make up my mind. Let's say this. Let's say we tiled all of our hopper minecarts. This thing doesn't run consistently. So we activate the flying machine, and when the flying machine comes back, we send out the hopper minecarts. Now, they're only going to pick up so much, right? So they've got 5 inventory spaces. So a hopper minecart, on average, picking up 2 pieces, like 2 stacks from 1 row. So that, to me, says, make your row 64... We're not even going to build one that big, but like, 2 lots of 64. It can go up and down for each one. Okay. I'm not too keen on winging it at like this, but we're gonna wing it, I think. Right. We're gonna need a pool of water. Chat, do I think about this stuff way too much? Is it annoying? Am I like annoying to listen to? Just can't make up my mind about a simple thing. I feel like when I've watched other hermits, I see them go through the similar sort of struggle. But I could be being particularly pedantic about it and not really realize, you know. I like the idea of using something that blends in with the mud here. So I think we'll go with blackstone. It's relatable. You love the over-engineering out loud. It makes it feel normal. That's good. That's good. That's a good response. We're all doing this. We're always getting finicky. And it's, oh well, you know, I thought 1 or 2 would be like, yeah, man, just shut up. But no, y'all are liking it. It's fun to see different farm ideas. Awesome. Hinamori, thank you for 2 months, my dude. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Thank you so much for the support. Right, in that case, y'all have made me cheery now, because now I feel like my thinking it through is probably a good thing. So let me explain. Whenever you get to the corner of this layout, it's always a pain in the bum. So you do that. Then you do another one. Oh, wait, I'm already getting confused. Here? We're doing diagonals like that, right? Yep, that's our layout. That's our layout. Maybe we'll try and embrace this diagonalness a little bit. But there'll be glass here or a wall here or something, so that won't be so. Yeah. Anyway, let's place blocks and just fill up this space and not actually overthink it too much this time. Okay. So what topic do you want us to chat about next? Also, would you like to see Hermitcraft or Hytale on the weekend? Can we make that a poll, maybe? I will make up my own mind about it. However, I would like to get a bit of a gauge for how much y'all want to see Hytale content. I was kind of thinking maybe doing a creative stream could be fun, just to investigate some stuff together on the fly, see what's what. I am not making mistakes, right? This works. Just keep repeating in the same place. Secret third option Phasmo. I think my brain has really shifted away from that game. I've said it many times. I can get obsessed with something, but as soon as I'm over it, I'm over it. And I feel like with Phasmo, it would take something big to get me to play it again right now. I have not thought about that kind of like horror game stuff at all lately. What I'd really like to do is get back together with the gang and play some Are We There Yet? Or some other like co-op games again. I really miss doing that. It's just Hermitcraft is like such a big time demand for me. And so it's very difficult to balance it with other stuff. It feels like you want to be all in on it. Because there's always cool stuff happening on the server and always a good time here, you know. X, do you make music? And if so, would you ever consider making an album? I'd definitely buy a CD. Sometimes I feel like people ask that question, they actually know the answer. I'll let chat answer it for you. I'll let chat tell you where to go. I'll let them tell you all about it. Or I could do a plug, right? Because I've got to plug the flag again. If you're looking at the screen right now and you're like, whoa, dude, cool flag. That's because it's a cool flag. Heart Gamer says maybe when they ask you can plug it. I feel like I talk about it too much, but then someone comes in and asks a very specific question like that. I feel like, do you just want me to, like, if ever you want me to talk about a topic, like, just say you want me to talk about my music, right? Rather than say, like, act as if you don't know, right? I'm not saying that's what you're doing right now. That's just what I think people are doing. Because I'm like, I talk about this all the time. How do you not know about it? Like, do you know what I mean? Just be straight up. If you're like, hey, X, please talk about that thing you always talk about again. I'll just be like, let's go. Right, that's the flag. Now, if I do that, you should see my music stuff on the screen. It's on Spotify and Bandcamp. And other major streaming platforms. It's free to listen to. And yes, I will make more in the future. No doubt about it. You're thankful to see me waving the flag around. That's your King Derp. Definitely a derp over here. Definitely a derp. You really like the flag design, but you really don't have the wall space for that. Fair enough, man. I don't know where to hang mine. Like, I don't want to replace the flags that are on my wall. Although part of my brain was thinking, like, what if I went through my old collection and, like, swapped some out? But I don't know. Once they're there, I want to leave them as they are. So I haven't found a spot to put the flag up myself. I might actually just attach it permanently to my sound barrier that's behind me. Because it could certainly accommodate more fabric. I mean, that's its job as well, is to absorb sound. So additional fabric would be welcome. Hytale Hermitcraft, it's pretty slanted towards Hermitcraft. Good to know, but depends on how I feel as well. Like, I feel like I need to enforce a break on myself. As I talked about, like, getting stressed out and stuff. Things like that, they're sometimes a little bit of a sign. Sometimes they're not, you know, but, like, I just don't want to end up, like, feeling exhausted at some point, right? Like, so I need to slow down just intentionally and, like, do the next bit right. Because I also need to find some creative energy again for doing aesthetics, and I feel like they come along when I'm not thinking about a big project, right? That's when that stuff tends to click. When I don't have that. Do a hermit harassment stream. That honestly sounds like a hilarious idea. I'm so not comfortable with being the cheeky one, though. What's my favorite guitar model? You know, like, At the moment, I love playing my Jackson V. I really like all of them, honestly. It's hard to say because each one's got like a personality and like a feel to it, a vibe. It's hard to say. Hey, here's something we could talk about. So, at the end of my last stream, we were talking about AI and AI psychosis, and then someone sent me this video by this guy. Is it Eddie Burback, right? And I watched their AI psychosis video today, and oh my god, does it highlight? Does it highlight like this chatbot AI stuff, right? It's got such a spectrum of possibilities when you interact with it, right? That's the way I think about it after seeing stuff like that. There's so many ways to like use this. Oh, I still have the music plug on the stream. Well, thanks for reminding me. I've swapped it back. There's such a spectrum that can emerge from it, right? And I think that's very telling of what the technology is and how maybe we've been a bit over the top with it or something, right? Bit overexcited. It's got some amazing capabilities, but to put it out there in the world as a therapist after seeing like how psychopathic it can be, it's just like alarming. Alarming, because it takes average people running around trying to expose this stuff, and then the people at the top are telling you it's going to be great for this, and it shows her where their incentives are, you know, like what their alignment is. So yeah, anyway, I don't know if any of you have seen that video, but it's definitely worth watching, especially if you're out there using ChatGPT as a therapist. Please reconsider and go watch an AI psychosis video and just understand that, yeah, this stuff can be a bit wild. Right, Powerball says, I listened to your video last night and I am on the fence when it comes to AI because I use it regularly, like maybe maybe at least 2 to 3 times a week for research in my job and personal life and business. Yeah, and I think that's okay. It's just like I said, spectrum is the word. Like, one end of the spectrum is there are powerful, useful uses for it, and the other end is there's stuff that's really bizarre that it can do. And I think, you know, it's just we need to navigate this with knowledge. We need to be well informed, and the people that are not going to inform us as to the other end of the spectrum, the dangerous end, are the people pushing it. That's the stuff they're not so fussed on telling you about, you know. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I just had a thought that we don't have lights in here, and we don't have light coming through this. And I've answered my own question because my brain, it took it a moment, and then it found the answer, and the answer is in this chest. So we now need to go get some copper blocks. So we're not going to use the beloved, that whatever that is. We're going to do that, and then we're going to put a light source below it. Glowstone is like my most disposable. Is someone selling frog? Where did I get these frog lights from? I got them from EFO, but does EFO have a shop? I have a crying obsidian farm if I want a low light level situation, but then the water from here might cut it off. So glowstone would be, I think I'm just going to have to go get some supplies, right? So we drop off some naff that we got in our inventory. We pick up more copper and light sources. Copper and light sources and mud. Copper, light source, mud. 3 things. Can we stay on topic and remember 3 things? Is it possible? Copper, light source, something else. I've already forgotten. Mud. My teachers keep trying to get us to use AI even though the exam board finds out we get a U. Interesting. I mean, I think the inevitability of this stuff, the ubiquity that it will have, we probably do need to learn and adapt, but at the same time, it is a choice if we want to use it or not. Another AI-related thing that I've watched recently was Adam Neely's, like, 1.5 hour look into Suno, and that, it's such a deep and nuanced topic to, like, try and tell you what I think or feel about it all in a moment. But as someone who adores music, it scares me genuinely. And what scares me is when young people don't care that they're listening to AI music. And I've always said that this happens over and over again. There's even examples of it within music in that video. He says, you know, you had MIDI come along and scare people. You had laptop producing come along and scare people. The thing that's crazy with the AI generation stuff is that we're potentially fully cutting people out of the loop as creators, and it'll become normal for young people to experience music that way. But as someone who plays instruments and gets an immense amount of joy out of them, I have recently tried to get my nephew and niece to have a go at learning an instrument, a piano, or I give them the guitar and show them some basics, right? Their attention, I don't know if it's like, maybe they're just not into it, but the attention span is the thing I've noticed. You know, they've got iPads and computer games, and they just give up so quick. Right? They're just over it so fast. And that scares me, because there is a world of joy and pleasure to be had with those instruments. And I feel like generative AI is another barrier to people experiencing that. Because it will make generating music through a prompt will make it so easy. I think we're just going to take a trip to the witch farm and pick up the glowstone. It's going to make it so easy to feel like you're doing music. And again, it's like being the old man out of touch thing again. That might just become the new normal. It might just be that people in the future grow up with music being something that you ask for, right? It just becomes so normal to be like, hey, I'm feeling like this today. Can we go slow tempo? I really like strings and polyrhythms. What do you got for me today? You know, in comes this polyrhythmic, slow tempoed, orchestral music. Ah, brilliant. You know, like, and to play a little bit of devil's advocate, that could be perfectly fine for them, you know? But boy, oh boy, as someone who knows there is an immense amount of pleasure in playing instruments, it's like, we might be locking people away from that. We might be pushing them away from ever learning about this. And, yeah, it scares me. Treadmills have been a thing for decades. People still go running. AI just lowers the barrier for entry. I gotta say, I think that's a really weak argument. Okay, when you run on a treadmill, you're still running. Sometimes you run outdoors because you want fresh air. You want to move around and see the environment move around you. Sometimes you just want to keep your exercise up, and the treadmill is a more convenient way. Or if you're like me, I have more trouble running outside, and it's winter, and I can watch a show while I'm on my treadmill. I don't think these things track the same way. When we talk about lowering the barrier for entry, it's partially true, but like the creative process is coming less and less from the human when you use AI more and more. The more skills, knowledge, and experience that you have in you as a musician to manifest into a moment of creation, like, that is taken away from you by the barrier of entry being lowered, you know? That being said, a Neuralink implant that could actually just turn what's in my head into music immediately in front of me would be incredible. But that wouldn't be generated by AI. That would be AI interpreting what I'm coming up with in my head. That would be an amazing barrier to entry lowered, in my opinion. But that's not what generative AI is doing, because it generates. You know? The less skill you have, the earlier you reach for AI. Yeah, that's quite possible. What did I say? Mud. I think we need mud, copper, light, and then I think we need more mud. Let's go get more mud. I like AI for helping identify what's in front of visually impaired people, but not for a lot awful else. I mean, that's such a great use for it, right? Again, there's a spectrum of things going on here, and I think people need to be armed with knowledge. You know, you need to be exposed to different ways of understanding what AI is, what it can be used for, and we need to stop doing that thing of like putting it into one pocket. I hate AI. It's like, great. Yeah, if that's all you're gonna say, like we're not gonna move in any direction, really, are we? But the same goes for the flip side of that. You know, oh, it's the best thing ever. It's like there's so much more to be said about it. I guess we have to do this now. Oh, this would be such a great time to get another cup of tea. Strangely, I kind of don't like feel like having another cup of tea right now. Don't know why. I feel very satiated. Well, that's why, isn't it? No, that's... How do we do this again? We've got to hold shift at the set. No. Wrong way around. Someone should make a tutorial for this. Now we got it. What am I building? Great question. Can I do... Actually, I'm not going to bother. We're building a sugarcane farm for disposable rockets. AI for coding has been both very helpful for those that are careful with it, and an absolute travesty for those who accept all and don't understand what they've written. Says Red Ultra. Yeah, I've read, like, I've seen such a spectrum of opinion on AI coding, its implementation, and what the outcomes are, and I've noticed that, like, with my algorithms on YouTube, I've kind of got like a foot in both camps. I get recommended both the like AI coding is terrible and AI coding is going so well stuff. But what I notice most about the coverage that I'm finding is that it's like one side or the other. There's not a lot of like people talking about it through the middle. And I've seen claims that it's replacing jobs and it's doing terrific. And I've seen other claims saying that they fired a bunch of people and now they're all coming back to work because they've got to repair all the AI code and stuff, you know? AI coding is exhilarating at first and overwhelming very quickly, says Nick Aeneas. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I remember doing a tiny bit of it as a little bit of a project way back for a game idea that I had. And very quickly it got something working in front of me. But I could see how, like, once you delve into, like, the complexity and the edge cases, it's probably, the code's going to fall apart, you know? Things are going to get messy quick. But it is a good way to make a, like, proof of concept and then pass it on to a person. Like, my album artwork, I hired an artist and it didn't go anywhere. Like, and that's, I don't know. Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's definitely on me. I'm thinking for a second, is that on me? Is it not? Of course it's on me. I didn't fully know how to get across what I wanted. And my first attempt to do that, I guess, was a learning lesson of like, okay, I tried this, it didn't work. Do you know what really worked? Using AI. I created some AI images and it got me really close to what I wanted. And I took that to an artist and I was like, this is it. Can you do this for me? And they did. And I'm so happy with the outcome. I think you can make the argument that AI maybe took someone out of the loop there. But at the same time, my first experience trying to get that done without AI, I wanted to give up. It was like, I do not know how to explain what I want. I was ready to give up on it. I feel like in that instance, the AI really helped me get the album cover the way I wanted it. And a human did that work, you know? The human did that work. As someone in the coding industry right now, my biggest complaint is AI being used by companies for hiring. The AI screening is miserable for finding jobs. So you apply for a job, but an AI is the one that's like approving you or not? Man, that's just dystopian really, isn't it? That's pretty much as dystopian as it gets. Computer says no. Did I get the job? Computer says no. Powerbot says, and that is why I use AI. It expresses what I want it to be a little nicer than I would. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I couldn't express what I wanted in this artwork. But then if I could make it visually first, then we could do that. You got the computer says no. Yeah, that's unfortunate, my dude. That's unfortunate. You think the biggest problem with AI, which you can't figure out, is how to resolve environmental? The data centers are so harmful. I know, and this, do you know what, this argument of like, we need to build it to solve the problem, like there's so much talk in this like Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur space of like, they're telling you that like doing this thing will solve this problem that they're also contributing to. And like, I think people buy into it, and I've kind of brought into it at times a little bit. But there's no actual like roadmap. There's no real path there. It's a conceptual idea. It's like a bit of a trust me bro moment. I get it. I get the idea that you create intelligence smarter than yourself, and then it solves the problem instead of you. But like, maybe that's a ludicrous idea to begin with, to think that we could create intelligence. If you learn about what these machines are doing, what these systems are doing, you can make so many arguments to suggest that like there's so little that we understand about intelligence and consciousness, and to just infer that we think we're going to be able to make it work through computers and computing power. There's ways you can look at that argument and see it like, actually there's a huge gulf here, and they're trying to sell it to us like it's right around the corner, and it's scary. I'm not really that convinced anymore that it's right around the corner. All this idea of the singularity and stuff. I don't hate AI, but I've gone from being a tech optimist to a pessimist, says Anti-Brint. I feel like I've been on a similar path, right? Like at the beginning of this journey, I was buying into a lot of this bright future tech talk about technology solving problems and stuff. I think now that I've seen it go in motion for a while, I feel myself, you know, we've lived through this narrative that they've been telling us for a while, and I'm not sure I buy it anymore. And one of the strong arguments that I heard is like, it's just at the end of the day, like the biggest force on this planet for like solving problems and getting stuff done is geopolitics, right? It's like, it may not even matter how much AI and stuff that we do, because at the end of the day, it comes down to us as people coexisting, cooperating, working together, and things like, you know, geopolitical forces are going to override all that stuff anyway. So, it's yeah, it's. I feel like their story is turning sour for me, but you know, being online, I'm super aware that just once you start feeling like that, the algorithm shows you other people making content in the same vein. Like, I don't know where we're all at together globally anymore, because we just keep getting shown like a reflection of our thoughts online. There's still AI optimists, there's AI doomers, and like wherever you're at, you're probably going to find it getting reflected in your algorithm, in your feed. And it'll make it feel like, well, that's where everyone's at, right? Nope. We're all in different spaces. Did I put glowstone under those ones? I don't think I did. You've seen teams trying to develop AI, and it may just be my experience, but it's very echo chambering, ignoring a lot of drawbacks like the environment. Well, if you go into the tech entrepreneur space, they're all trying to sell you the same idea. There's not a lot of divergence in the approach to what they're doing with AI and stuff. Yeah, the pitch to investors is that if we keep throwing more compute at the problem, we'll keep getting infinite returns. But the current research suggests that they're already plateauing. Yeah, I've seen people saying that for a while, and then and then there's a breakthrough, and then there's DeepSeek, and then there's this thing. But I think DeepSeek was kind of like feels like the last big shock, and then since then it just feels like there's more discussion about Moore's law not working, and like maybe we are plateauing. Again, algorithms. Where are you getting your information from? Like, I'm so aware of that. Have you all heard about the AI social media platform where they're talking about humans in the way that humans talk about an AI on social media? I have heard about it, and it also sounds like there's a lot of fishiness around it. Like its authenticity, its legitimacy and stuff, and I was kind of like listened to some commentary on it, and I was like, I just put on a record. I listen to music. I can't be doing with this. Got to remember though, like these LLMs coming up with like crazy stuff, like creating their own religion and stuff. It's just an amalgamation of language. Like they're not thinking machines. It's not that deep. It's clever. It's interesting. I mean, the technology is insane, but like, let's not get off track. You know, it's not some miraculous breakthrough. The biggest potential for AI is in potential self-learning abilities for improving garage-type farming, like picking ripe tomatoes, dealing with aphids, pincers, etc., thereby reducing the need for pest chemicals. Yeah, I've learned about that. John Deere are doing a lot of stuff for that, right? They're incorporating sensors into the farming equipment so they can use less pesticides and make farming more efficient and stuff. There's this weird thing with efficiency though, is it's called Jevons law, I believe, that you make something more efficient, and we kind of have this idea in our head that it's more efficient, we're using less of it. But what tends to happen is you make something more efficient and then we do it more, right? When DeepSeek came out, the amount of AI compute, right? So DeepSeek like reduces the energy expenditure, the compute by like 10x, right? So you introduce that, oh, thank goodness. Now our AI power consumption is going to come down 10 times. What did it do? It doubled. It doubled because people went, oh my God, it's so much more efficient. Now we can take more advantage of it. And so like the thing grew. And that, like, all you have to do is zoom out and look at planet Earth and see how when we learn how to travel faster, when we learn how to farm more efficiently, when we learn how to, I don't know, think about all the things that have improved technologically. All we ever do is grow and expand, you know? And I've been very much like I think a tech optimist, and someone who thinks that technology will solve a lot of problems, because it has solved a lot of problems, but it exists in this contrast with like constant expansion. And I don't think you can ignore the fact that resources are limited. And so my opinion of being a tech optimist and kind of seeing it as like technology will solve the problems in the future, the Jevons law thing kind of makes me feel like that's also at odds with like, what would you call it, limited resources on infinite, you know. And it's challenging to have that kind of belief and then kind of at the same time be like, yeah, but you know, Muddin will be right. Jevons law, yeah, Jevons law is what it's called. It's very interesting, and there's many examples of it. You're a tech optimist, but a humanity pessimist. Interesting. I'm definitely a human. I'm very optimistic about humanity. I feel like there is this unfortunate balance between creation and destruction, where so much less effort is put into breaking and destroying things than creating. If you think about something like your smartphone and how much human labor it takes to create it and to make it work, and how much cooperation and man hours went into like getting that thing into your hand, because you'll never be able to make that. If you had infinite time as one individual, can you imagine being stranded on this planet and having to do every single thing yourself, right? Let's just make it easy mode. You'll never get sick, but you do have to feed yourself or you'll get tired. And like, think about all the infrastructure you'd have to build out to go from nothing all the way up to like creating an iPhone. And you, like, not only would it cost you an insane amount of hours of your time, you'd only ever be one person doing it at one time. So our cooperative existence together creates these incredible things, and we do incredible things together. But then, in order to destroy that stuff, everyone here in this chat can't make an iPhone but can destroy one in less than a minute, right? And this is just an idea that I think extends to looking out into the world and seeing negative things that happen, like death and destruction and war, and realizing that that's actually like the smaller part of what we are that has the bigger impact, because destruction is just like that. It's easier to tear things down than to build things up, yet we exist in that tandem, in that dynamic all the time, and that goes to show that there's far more people on this planet, like over 99%, that every day we get up, we coexist, we work together and get by. And like that, to me, that's why I'm positive about humanity. I think that's what we are. You know, the rare small amount of people that are truly destructive, it's just easy for them to make everything feel like it's like that, because destruction is so powerful. And I think we miss out on how many people are genuinely good and trying to do well in this world, you know? We need machines to build an iPhone. We can see things that small, says Guided Tuber. Yeah, well, think about like, okay, so you need a machine to build an iPhone. How'd you build the machine? You need a bunch of tools and materials. All right, how do we build the tools and where do we get the materials from? To make those tools, we probably need more primitive ones. And like at some point, it will come back to like, you know, okay, I've got to like find a branch off a tree and make a spear, right? And then I got to break a bit of rock and get some flint and attach it to the end. And then I might be able to like jab a bit of rock that's got some iron ore in it, right? Like, it's insane how like the tech tree works. You just need so much human manpower cooperating to get us from like nothing to iPhone. You had a nasty encounter with an online personality last weekend, and I did lose faith in humanity for a couple of hours, but I got over it. The way I looked at it, it's his ignorance is going to keep him where he is, and I chose to rise above it. Rise above is a quote I absolutely love. It comes from a Black Flag song, and I don't know if this was ever their intention of the lyrics, because me and lyrics, it's a little bit like, sometimes I just hear my own words of songs, right? Like, I'm not particularly good at like following lyrics as it is, but even worse at picking out meanings. For me, that song always just said like, whatever anyone else is doing, don't sink to their level, just rise above. Like, always walk the better path and don't fall into like lowering yourself to someone else's standards. And so I love saying like rise above, you know, that's like you're in a bad situation, there's something difficult going on. Don't lash out. Don't feel like you can do that in anger or you're justified in some way. Just rise above it. Just walk away from it, you know? But remember, when you're online, man, being online can bring out the worst in people. You know? Oh, if it's Henry Rollins, I'm 100% sure he meant it. Yeah. It was Henry Rollins singing that one. You highly recommend reading about ancient industry like Bronze Age copper mines and international trade in those times. It's not... Yeah, that's really probably an area for me that I have not looked into. Bronze Age copper mines and international trade. I guess one thing you could say about technology, progress, industry, there was a lot of like... Well, okay, we've had slavery in our past, we've had slave labor. Like, to get to where we are now, to the coziness we are in now, there was a lot of suffering. I do wonder, though, would the people of those times talk about it like we're talking about it now? Like, coal miners, right? We know that going down the coal mines was awful. But was there something worse before it? Was life more brutal? Were the coal miners like, hey, it's better than that gig we had before? I don't know the answer to that. I think, personally, my gut tells me that there's like a curve where it got worse before it got better, because I think that a lot of life is relative. So if you grew up without modern medicine, like, that would be your normal thing, to experience a lot more suffering and death, but then that would just be normal. And I kind of imagine living in like simpler times Like I think it's very easy to romanticize like native cultures, like the American Indians. Like when I see like TV shows or movies showing you how they used to live, sometimes you just think, wouldn't it be like amazing to just this be your life, hunting buffalo in these incredible wild plains? But that might be like a romanticization of that, if that makes sense. But I wonder if like, do they, maybe if you could live that life, would that be an incredible life to live? Would that be better than what we have now? Or like what it was like when people were in the coal mines? My gut tells me that there's like a curve when industrialization comes in, or even before that, you know, even in feudalism, it gets worse before it gets better, going from like tribes, simple living to that kind of thing. Yo, the Nine Gods, 120 months you have completed. 10 years. 10 years of listening to this insanity. Thank you so much, my dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Alice's Cool says, aye, man. No, that's not what you said. I tried to read it too quickly. Aye, man. I mean, I see the romanticism of Victorians a lot. They had horrible conditions. Interesting. I look at the Victorian era as particularly brutal, but also kind of fascinating. I feel like I would like learning about that era more, but like because I learned about it at school and I disliked school so much, it kind of like I think I associate it negatively because of that, which is just a silly little Xisuma quirk, really. You know, I always think of the Victorians that way, but then there's just so much fascinating stuff to learn about that era of time, right? It's your first Xisuma stream and you're loving it. Welcome to the Waffles. Welcome to the Waffles, man. There's something wrong with me, and I let it all out on these streams. You hated history in school, but now you love it. I think it's just one of those things, like when you're a teenager, oh my god, like I could totally get if you thought it was boring. And then you get older and you see things change around you and the times change, and then you start to think about it differently. You start to be like, I want to know why things were different. I want to know, like, what does this all mean? This constant changing and evolving, and then it becomes fascinating as you try and like figure it out. I really like going to museums and learning in those kind of environments. History can be interesting, but it's often taught in a boring way, in my opinion, says Kabbalistic Cam. Yeah, it could be like part just taught boring. I feel like, oh well, actually this is just the same problem, but like also who you are at that age. Like I thought school was and all this stuff was really boring, right? But then I'm such a different person now. I think when you're at that age, it may just be a lot more easy for that stuff to just seem boring. But maybe now we also have better communicators, people that can really get you interested in this stuff. Who knows? Where can you find a little jingle about X flying into a jungle tree? Xisuma, oh Xisuma. Something. From the Hermit of Craft, he's about to hit a jungle tree. That will be a season 7 episode of Hermitcraft. I would say at least 10 or whatever many into that episodes if I finish my sentence. God, I'm so impatient. Yeah. I should probably clip that and repost it as a short. I'll probably make some good short content. Also, I feel like I want to get away from that mentality of like, I should make a short. But I keep doing it because it's what I'm supposed to do, right? I think once you add capitalism into the mix, life does get a bit more complicated. So I feel pre-colonial Native Americans didn't have the stresses like paying rent or keeping your job or anything like that. But medicine wasn't as evolved, so maybe there are lots of trade-offs we don't think about, says Jew B. 100%. You are thinking in the way I like to think. But what I would add to what you're saying is relativity, right? Just because you exist without the comforts of modern day, people did not... Native Americans were not waiting for the iPhone, right? Like, you can't conceive of this stuff back then. And I said about things being romanticized, it seems like the way they're portrayed, they have like a deep connection to Mother Nature and the ways of their life and stuff. And that stuff to me is very attractive. But again, because of the relativity, it's hard to know if like, oh, are we actually doing so much better? Because, hey, look, you know, isn't this easy modern life of ours so great? Or are we missing something? Is all of this technology, is it enriching us? Is it taking us away from Mother Nature? Is Mother Nature more enriching? It's a really hard thing to get your head round. We can't A/B test, you know? And the relativity of happiness as well makes it even more tricky. But with all that trickiness and all that ambiguity, it maybe suggests that maybe you don't need to think about it too much and just enjoy whatever's in front of you, you know? Whatever's going on right here, maybe that's all right. Primitive life was brutal. Brutal, but if it was all you knew, right? Brutal compared to what? It's brutal to us now because we live such different lives. Right, let's grab some green dye. Not a crazy amount, apparently. I'm definitely going to use green dye around here. For me, one of the things that I love about modern life, modernity, can we call it that, is music. I have such a strong connection to music. It makes me feel like you can't be missing out on that much, you know. As Gandalf says so wisely, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Classic Star Wars quote right there. Classic one. That's from the episode where Picard betrays Potter and tells him he's not really a wizard. Man, crazy episode. Crazy episode. Right, oh, I don't have any deep slate here. Fair enough. Oh, don't we need... I think we might need glazed terracotta. And if we did, it would probably be at the second level here, so... I guess I'll strip out some of this. Ah, I fell in a hole. My thought experiment I always fell into is, what if X technology came before Y technology? I.e., if electric motor was figured out before steam somehow. Yeah, that's interesting. The thing is, though, not really thought about that too much before. One thing that comes to mind when you say that, though, is like when people say, you know, so and so is an absolute genius, and how did they figure all that stuff out? A lot of scientific discoveries and technologies are not so much like the lone individual figuring out, and more like an emergence of ideas heading in a direction, and then one person has that like sparkle of genius to push us to the next level. And on that, some people made some real leaps, like Einstein and Newton, of course. But like a lot of people who invented and discovered stuff, like you know, if you put Einstein back 100 years, he's probably not going to figure out relativity. And if you put him forward 100 years, he's probably going to be on some frontier of modern science figuring stuff out. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's another thing about like all the what ifs. So there could be. I think we're going to need to craft up a lot of powered rails. And we have a gold farm for that, which is good. What do you need for it? You need gold, you need redstone. Don't you need pressure plates or something? No, powered. Powered is the word. Powered rail. Sticks. I know there's something else. This is where my mangrove comes in. He'd be playing games all day. Oh dear, it could be possible. Einstein, hardcore gamer. Hey, sometimes really smart people do stuff that isn't science or maths, you know? Like there's okay, great example. Minecraft community, right? Ilmango, Seftbling, plenty of others just like them. Always struck me as being incredibly bright, and with Ilmango just constantly pumping out Minecraft content, I used to wonder. I was like, "You're so smart. Like, could you be doing better for society, like doing something else?" And like that is not a statement of judgment or anything more than I hope something to be received in a pleasant way. Like I don't mean anything bad by it at all, but like, you know what I mean? It's like you're clearly incredibly bright, and I kind of wonder if maybe your talents are wasted on Minecraft. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Ilmango, I believe, did actually give up Minecraft to go do some, I don't know, engineering, science, something high level. So good for them. You know what I mean? Oh, one of the Psycraft guys literally works at CERN. Why am I not surprised to hear that? I'm not surprised to hear that, no. Yeah, that's what I'm on about, man. There are some absolute smart people out there, and sometimes you can just see that through something else, like how they play a computer game. This is quite off topic, but about a week ago I watched season 8 and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So as a joke, I created an alt account on Discord, named it Evil Raw, and did a few more things. I won't go into depth. I expected it to be a funny one-off, but nope. Now I have lore written in a Google Doc and people are actually interested in what I'm doing. It's crazy. Dude, you had an idea, you had inspiration, you followed it and leaned into it. That's how things happen, man. Like, let that remind you that you can do that at any time. You can lean into an idea. Are we talking about Cub fan? No, Cub's really bright too, right? Cub is actually I'm definitely going to get it wrong. I'm going to intentionally say the wrong thing. An astrophysicist. I'm not sure he is an astrophysicist. That's just a job title, I know. Cub studied and has degrees in stuff to do with astrology, right? Like the guy is super smart. He's actually an astrophysicist. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. And I love all that stuff, by the way. Like I listen to Star Talk. And in the past, I listened to some other ones as well, but Star Talk's kind of like my go-to now for that. Tango is a super genius for figuring out Decked Out. Yeah, again, right? Again. Hermitcraft got talent, people. There's talent here. I'm telling you. But yeah, that's, I don't know how we ended up there, but we ended up there. I mean, it's a waffle stream. We always end up somewhere. Minecraft creators have the wildest lore. I don't think it'll be exclusive to just Minecraft creators, though, right? People just have lore. Try the Rest is Science podcast. That's my new favourite. I'm 2 episodes behind because I'm listening to an audiobook by Trevor Noah, who I didn't really know what he did. I'm aware that he hosts some American like late night talk show. I wasn't aware he was a comedian. I just picked an autobiography based on a recommendation. And I actually know very little about this person, and it's been super interesting to listen to. Born a Crime is the name of it, by the way. Learning about South Africa and the apartheid, and really fascinating to listen to. Yo! Someone's playing music. XB's dropping in with the tunes. XB delivers music. Oh, what's this? Yo. Nice new helmet. Oh my god, the eyes. Dude, this is like if Doom Guy collided with a gummy bear or something.
You like it?
Hi, yeah, no, that's super cool. What the heck? I can't get over how weird that is. That's like,
isn't it nice?
It's cool. It makes your face look a lot wider. Do you want to swap? Can I try it on?
What are you trying to say, Xisuma?
You got a big head.
True. I mean, it's true. What are you doing? What's this?
Oh, can you guess? just by looking at the layout?
Sugarcane.
Yeah, you got it. Sugarcane farm. I've just realised if I'm using rails underneath, I don't need to use mud.
Right.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Here, look, try these on.
I mean, it's already there. You might as well leave it. You know.
Here, XP, try these on. Let's exchange. Let's exchange for a moment. Because, oh, wait, what happened there? There we go. Oh. Snazzy! I like it.
Oh yeah, I pulled it off. It's great.
This suits you more than me, but it definitely got like a Doom Guy vibe to it, right? You feel that?
It's very observer.
I swear this thing has got like an extra pixel or two normal over the usual like size of the head. It looks. Oh, you got another one. 2 XPs, they're coming to your town. Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Oh man, the particles.
Yeah, one's a pumpkin, one's a helmet. So.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I love that we can put these on helmets now.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I've been caving in this area and getting my butt absolutely destroyed. And like, I've even got a copper helmet as well as the leggings and stuff. Like, copper is really weak.
Well, yeah.
I know.
It's copper.
I've committed to it now, though.
Well, I
Stuck
mean,
with
you're
it.
committed to something. That's for sure.
To dying. But it's been worth it. Do you want to see what I've been lighting up caves for?
Sure.
Just drop on down into this hole. You'll be absolutely fine. Make sure you got your wings on.
No, it's fine.
All right. XB, you're going to explain what this is. You've never seen it before, but you're going to tell us.
Okay.
Oh, we might... Oh, that's another point, actually. Like, we have to stand back a little bit to let things spawn, you know what I mean?
Is that a record farm?
It is a record farm, yeah.
Yeah. I just figured
Alright.
with the skeleton shooting, like that's, you know.
We got creepers in there now, so we can see it in action. Dude, it blew up. Like, a creeper dropped down and, like, blew up, and I had to rebuild part of it, which was scary.
Nice.
Yeah. They're gonna come through. I don't think we've got enough of them in there right now. Oh, there goes one.
Oh, I didn't realize it was double-sided. Okay.
Yeah, I built it symmetrical, which was like an impulse. You know how it is when like a bit of symmetry emerges and you decide to stick with it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was the best choice, but I got there in the end. Anyway, do you need any
love
records?
symmetry. Maybe. What do we? I mean, you only got a couple.
Only a couple. I can spare a couple
Yeah.
though.
What are the good ones? Like I had pig step, but I don't know what happened to it. So
Just take
I know
one
that
of
doesn't
each.
drop from creepers, but
I hear 11's a banger.
Strad, stall,
Blocks.
Mohai.
I think Blocks is my favorite.
Blocks.
Yeah,
Hold
I'm
on.
really fond of that song. It's like I think it's like a 3-part song.
Oh, I left my player upstairs.
But yeah, any of these you need, just feel free to take them.
I will. I'm gonna take blocks for now, just because I don't know it. But
It's a good one. You figured out how this works?
well, I mean, you spawn creepers, and then the skellies shoot them and drop records.
Yeah, but look at the spawning platform back there. You
Like
got
the-
like a 3-cam on?
Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
You see what's going on? XP not impressed?
Yeah, with the trap doors, so it only creepers spawn, and
And nothing else going on in there, just trapdoors and stuff. Yep, that's how it is.
well, I mean the gas.
False, thanks for the raid. Welcome everyone.
You can't unhear the gas. So
Oh, they're low for me, right? Like I put on a resource pack because they were driving me nuts.
yeah, well, I mean, I have the extreme sound muffler, so I could mute them here
Oh,
if I
yeah.
wanted to. But
That mod sounded
not gonna
really
be here
good.
long
Like
enough.
you can
Oh,
like
it's so
customize
good,
stuff.
dude.
Can't you do
can
it
set
per
it to where
area?
yeah, you can set it so it only mutes the ghasts like while you're here. But if you leave this area, you'll still hear them.
I need to
It's
I
so
need to get
nice.
into that. Yeah, that's. Let me make a note. Another note. I make so many notes. What was it? Extreme muffler?
Extreme sound muffler.
Yeah, I need to do that.
The only issue with it is you can only have like 9
Oh,
like points where you have sound muted.
that's a
But
bit. That seems a bit like why impose that limit? Maybe there's a reason.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
It's a
it's kind
strange
of
one.
weird. But 9 is better than 0. So
True. Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna look into it because I don't want happy ghasts to always be quiet. But
I guess
definitely when I'm
technically
down
it's
here.
10. 0 to 9. So yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been working on.
good
And that's
time.
why I've been dying.
Wait, did we?
That's the way.
come
Yeah,
down
up there.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
You got to do a quick UE behind you at this level. You don't want to go up there. That's a dead end. Actually, no, it's not anymore. I made a little tunnel today, but most of the time I just fly out like this. And now building a sugarcane farm. So I got this idea,
Record
XP.
point.
Right, like I don't need the gunpowder from my record farm. So if I build a big sugarcane farm here and just automatically make records. Oh, this one's a banger. Those rockets that it makes, I could like shoot them in a water stream to my base or send them into the Nether and just create like an infinite supply of rockets.
I mean, what you could do is just like put him in a water stream and then ship him to that XB guy's base.
Yeah, that's a long way to go though.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, all the way back in Season 2 of Hermitcraft, I actually did this with Ender Pearls. I made it so that the farm in the end sent the Ender Pearls into the Nether and then transported them to everyone's base.
Mm-hmm.
For them, we got Elytras.
Right.
So doing that again with rockets kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
I go through a lot of rockets. So.
Oh, I think maybe everyone goes through the Nether a lot, so definitely a good idea to put it there. But maybe if I can distribute it in the Nether, so there's like, we got the Nether hub, right? Any side you enter it from, there's like a little rocket stall, and you just grab 3 rockets.
I mean, sounds good to me.
I think that's the way to go.
You could even do a shulker loader and just have shulkers we could take.
You know, I do like that, but I don't have a shulker farm, and I kind of like the idea of using a shelf, because all you do is right-click on it with your rocket stack, and then you get a full stack of rockets.
No, yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, that's the direction
Or just have
I'm
them
going to go
around that, you know, like the center portal.
Yeah.
Just have it like on either side of it, and then boom.
That could work too.
That way you're not trying to run stuff all over in the Nether, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, lot to think
Just
about. It's a good idea.
I mean, you'd have to like talk to Gem and see like what you can can't do in there.
There might not be a lot of space there, but she's doing an amazing job with the Nether hub.
I haven't seen it. Is she done with it, or?
It's still got a ways to go, but it's now at that point where it's like you can see where it's going, and it's really impressive.
Okay.
But it's
not
not
I saw her doing it on stream the other day, but I haven't I don't use the Nether like hardly ever. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I like.
You got a reason. You got a reason to pop in now.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I will let you get back to your.
To building, to building this with mud, which I don't need.
All right. Bye, Shishwammy baby.
See you around, dude. Take care. All right. Always nice to have someone swing by. XB's new helmet. Looking absolutely swish. Swish. Oh my god. These words. What were we doing? We were replacing rails, right? Powered blocks and powered rails. Powered blocks, powered rails. We can do that. Hey, and XB with the emote in chat as well. Look at that. Dude, it's got such a vibe to it. Did that... Oh my god, I don't think I even asked because I assumed, but did Hoffen do that right? I just kind of assume everything is Hoffen, yeah. Hoffen's knocking it out of the park. You just finished the new episode and you loved it. Oh, awesome. Thanks for watching. As you can probably tell, we're in the same area, just working on the next project to link up to it. I think I'm going to try and take a little bit of time between this one and the next and play a bit more casually. Like, I noticed that I kind of slipped into the old way of recording, and this season I had a bit of a different way. Wait, what happened there? That's not part of my methodology. So, like, old Xisuma tended to, like, get very project-oriented, and then plow into the project and keep going and get it done. And in this season, although there was an element of that, I broke up the episodes with a lot more variety, and I liked that. And I also did it by not trying to plow through an episode, but just by being active, being present on the server, hanging out with other peeps, and like lots of stuff would just happen through the week to go into an episode. And I feel like I've slipped out of that a little bit, and so I want to get a bit of that energy back. Because when you just focus on like a single project, your episode becomes very like every little clip is just the next increment of one project, and I think it flows better. And you know, not every episode has to be the same, so I'm okay with some being like they've been, but I feel like the next ones need to get back to like jumping between different projects and like interacting with people and just having a bit more of a variation to what's going on. Because otherwise, each episode will get a bit bogged down in like, here's the project, we're plowing through it. Next episode, here's a project, plowing through it. Siberian Wolf, thank you for gifting a sub to the Ninja Wolf. And Vaskanovich, thank you for gifting a sub to XB Crafted. Very much appreciated. Thank you for supporting our community. XB saying thanks in the chat. Yo, XB, I know you play on Hermitcraft, right? But there's this server called Let's Play Minecraft Together. And if you get a gifted sub on my channel, you get access to it. You know? It's probably very tempting. So if you are a subscriber here and you're interested in joining our community, just ask in the chat. They'll poke you in the right... Poke you? Yeah, they'll prod you with a stick in the right direction. They'll be like, go that way, you. That's what they'll do. Anyway, expect to see you on there soon, XB. No pressure. Jokes. Obviously jokes. Come on, people. Come on. I'm a filthy troll. I live under a bridge. Live under a bridge. He has suddenly stopped working. Go to the doctor! The ear doctor. You forgot where you left your pokey stick. You have to get a new pokey stick. There was this thing. Man, butt scratcher. Butt scratcher. Does anyone remember that? That was from Family Guy. And then we would go to like Download Festival. And this is like old school memes. This is like before the internet was totally ubiquitous. Like there would be a popular cartoon TV show. You'd go to a festival and people would just randomly shout out phrases from it. Like butt scratcher. I remember me and my mates running around shouting it thinking it was great. And now I look back at it and I'm like, it's not that funny. Oh, anyway, if you know that one, you're probably as old as me. Oh, how depressing. Not really. Right. The voice is getting absolutely knackered, people. I'll tell you that. And last couple of days, I feel like I might be sick. I might be under the weather because I keep like waking up with a bit of a scratchy, raspy voice. And energy's a little low in the beginning of the day. So like any day now soon, I'll wake up and go, oh yeah, definitely was sick. I always feel it after. Like it's when I get better that I realize that I was sick. But yeah, don't want to knacker the voice too much. 1 year at Leeds Festival is Timmy. Timmy! Yeah, dude, that was like every year at Download Festival. Just in the middle of the night, you'd be in your tent and you'd just hear someone go, Timmy! And then like other people near you would start doing it and it would just like spread across the site. Oh my god, you just gave me some memories, my dude. Smatter Sly 2, thank you for your Prime subscription. You can also use Prime as well as gifted subs to join the Let's Play Minecraft Together server. As always, just asking the chat. Peeps, thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm going to stream again on the weekend. Saturday or Sunday or maybe both. Probably going to do Hermitcraft. If I do both days, it'll probably be some Hytale as well. But I'm taking a break. Tomorrow, I don't think I'm going to do anything recording related. I am just going to chill and play Hytale. And give myself, I think, a much needed brain break from the usual routine. Right now, though, I'm just getting set up to do a raid. So if you want to stick around and catch some more Minecraft action, assuming we raid someone for the Minecrafts. I haven't raided Chosen Architecture in quite a while, and they're playing all the Mons, which doesn't appear to be... Oh, it's Pokemon. It's not a typo. So stick around for some modded Minecraft. You'll be in good hands with Chosen Architecture. I'm going to bounce, and I will see you all again sometime soon. So take care. Have a fantastic day. And I almost forgot to do it. Don't forget the flag. The flag, people. Think about the flag.